Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aries. If Aries is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Aries, our card tonight is the 5 of Wands. And so the 5 of Wands does have everything to do with strife, but that doesn't mean that it's current, right? I mean, it could be. It could be. And what is strife? If we don't know what strife is, it is problems, right? Hardships, ordeals, right? And so these could be big, they could be small, they could be old, they could be new, maybe in the future. Who knows? Let's ask these tea leaves because they're going to tell us. All right. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to hit the like button or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Look at that big old owl we have right here, perched right on the edge. Just hanging out, watching what is going on. So we have the Watcher energy. We also have, I mean, it does kind of look like an eye up here, like a large eye. So I do feel like something has been going on in your life that it's like it's just out of the ordinary, right? If you live with people, a spouse, a family member, kids, whatever, you could think of it as like all of a sudden they're behaving completely out of character. They're out of their routine. They're doing things they don't usually do. They're maybe being kind of evasive or, you know, kind of isolating themselves, hiding things. You know, it's just like, obviously you're going to notice this shift, right? And so I feel you in this place where you're kind of like, what the heck is going on? What is this? What is happening? Because I don't really exactly know. Is it this person in particular, or are they reacting to something else that's like, you know, larger that's happening? Is it happening within this domestic zone, or is it something they're bringing in from another part of their life? I don't know. And I think that you're starting to get kind of a bigger picture put together, right? But you're very much in this, I'm keeping an eye out. I'm sitting here and I am watching every little thing. And, you know, that doesn't surprise me. Aries people are very observant. Absolutely. You see all the little fine details, right? There's this Facebook group that I used to be in, and it's called, and I'm trying to think, it's something like zoom into the background or something like. So I'm like a person, if you send me like a picture of your family or, you know, like a selfie or whatever it is, it could be your dinner or whatever. You send me a picture of that, I'm going to go in there and look at all the stuff. What's going on in the back? What does the room look like? What's over there in that pile of, you know, whatever. So I feel like this is very much an Aries energy as well, although I'm not an Aries. And I don't have really any major Aries placements, but my best friend is an Aries. And she is so on point. I mean, I've told this story before, and I'm not going to go into details, but the ultimate bounty hunter, right? She's not actually a bounty hunter, but I tell her all the time, you should be a PI. Because you give her like 4 photos and she'll figure out exactly where it was taken, when it was taken, you know, like she just knows. And so I feel like for you, yeah, you're really in that kind of detective mode right now. Now, I don't know if it's anything that's a big deal or not, but I think it's like, yeah, you're picking up on the energy, like something's off here. And especially if it's something with your kids, right? If they're young, if they're older, if they're adults even, when they start behaving even just kind of a little bit differently, we notice, right? It's like, what's going on? You know, with my daughter, I'm like, did you sneak some candy? What's happening here? If you're getting ornery, I'm like, who gave you candy or who gave you sugar? So I think that's part of what's happening. I think that's definitely part of the energy of your private life right now. Now, we also have the number 3, okay? And it looks like we have something it looks like I'm going to read it as yarrow or taro. Maybe Taro or Yaro, if that means anything. I'm going to flip it over too and see if it says anything the other way. And it looks like it says mort. M-O-R-T, Mort, which reminds me of Mort Garrison, the composer. If you've never heard Plantasia, right, go and look it up. His name is Mort Garrison, okay? He is one of the first electronic artists or whatever, you know, like really interesting music. But he did this beautiful album. It's called Plantasia. It was kind of, I don't know if it's actually for plants, maybe it is, but kind of promoted. He did the whole steez of it is like, this is a album that you play to your plants, and it helped the frequencies, it helps them grow, the plants grow. So go check that out. But you might know a mort in your life. I don't know. I don't think I know a mort. I can't think of any besides Mort Garrison. Now we have the number 6. And I want to see. So we just have this like big frowny face up here. We also have one right here. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Just a lot of grumbling. I almost wonder if this has to do with maybe the holidays coming up. It just feels like everybody is in a sour mood around you. And I wonder if you are a little bit yourself. Now, we have a person sitting here. You can see, here's the face, the eye, the nose, the mouth, and the head would be here. Here's the body. Okay, you can see kind of sitting. Here are the legs kind of bent and down. And holding a bird, right? A bird that's perched. It looks like it's just landed or it is landing. And so I feel like this is maybe kind of an image of you. And I feel like you are somebody who receives information from that other place, right? You might be a medium. I feel like this is very much medium energy. I think that you probably have had dreams, prophetic dreams. You've had encounters with people who are passing away or who have passed away. But I almost feel like you're one of those people that has like a story similar to, and this happens a lot, I think. Not every time, but more often than we realize, is when somebody is passing and there's a family member who suddenly has a dream about the person as they're passing, or they see them. They come into their room, they appear to them in their home somewhere, and they, tell them, I'm okay. I have to go now. I'm transcending. And I feel like you are a person that's had something similar to this. You've had something where it's like, well, even like, when you have that sense that my kid just got hurt, and then you find out they like broke their arm riding their bike and, they fell off of it or whatever. You definitely are tuned in. So I feel like it's almost really difficult for you to deal with the human problems, especially within like maybe your older kids or, you know, family members or whatever. I feel like there's this whole like energy of like, if you only knew how bad it could be for, you know, like it is for other people. If only you knew what the world is really like, what it could be like, how terrible. Because you are plugged in to that greater collective in a way that is very conscious. You feel the vibrations of the pain. And we all do. And we all do. But there are some of us who are more privileged than others. And we have not had lives that are, you know, just absolutely tragic, or the circumstances are just so dire and desperate that when you are around, you know, you're around your family and they're complaining, oh, I didn't get the right video game, or I wanted this and I don't want to eat that because I don't like that, or, you know, whatever it is. and you can hear the mom coming out at me, right? And there's the feeling like, if only you knew, if only you understood, you wouldn't be complaining about this stuff, you know? And I think, on the other hand, you want to protect the people you love. You don't want them to know suffering like that. We never want our kids to hurt or struggle or be in pain, even if we know we all need a little bit of it, right? We all need to figure it out. We all need to have that moment where, yeah, we fall down, we fail. But this is like, I mean, there are things in the world that are so awful. And so when you're around people who have no idea about that stuff, of course you want them to stay naive. But you also, it's like, I don't want to hear that. You have no idea. You have no idea. And so I feel you really trying to, I feel like trying to figure out, like, how do I navigate this? Like, what do I do? And it's not only about for them, it's not about teaching them, how to live or how to be or think or whatever. No, this is about you. This is about you learning how do I process through this stuff? How do I find balance in, this kind of chaos? And I think it's just, at times it can be a little bit heartbreaking for you. And I feel like there's just these, feelings, emotions. It feels, when I'm thinking about it, it almost feels like, when you're crying, you're about to really cry, and you have that knot in your throat. And, it just, I want to get out of this feeling. I don't want to feel like this all the time. But it's been difficult. And you don't always know how to release yourself from this. It's like we get bound to these moments in our lives where it feels like everything is wrong. It's all a mess. How do I fix? I want to, get this thing together. I want everybody to understand and to also still stay in a state of, wellness, of ease, to be able to walk through life without knowing the horrors of what the world can be, what life can be, what other people can be, right? And I feel like, through all of this, it's kind of the divine reaching out to you with this bird, right? A message coming through, something that you really need to look at. because I feel like there is an opportunity here for you, because you feel like you are stuck in this blockage, right? You don't know how to get around it. You don't know how to kind of start to tackle it, dissolve it, unwind it, whatever, right? Walking away from it feels impossible. But the universe, but the divine, right, is there. Always there with you. And there will be an opportunity. There will be a moment, right, where it's like, okay, here is that doorway. Not only that one, but here's like 15 more. Which way do you want to go? And it's not a trick question, but it is a let's keep moving forward. Let's figure this out. Because you cannot, you know, stay in this place and keep spinning your wheels. And that's what it feels like. It just feels like you're in a bunch of muck, right? You're just trying to, I can hear it in my head, the sound of it with the boots and the mud and, just let me get through, you know? But I think listening to yourself, accepting the divine, finding some little message in the subtle, participating in your spiritual practices, honoring that connection, grounding, centering, right? And also clearing a space for yourself. I think this is important, especially for somebody who is kind of predisposed to the ability to commune or receive kind of spiritual information. It's important to have a space for yourself to practice. And I don't mean you have to like have, you know, your whole, like an altar and all these special objects and, you know, imagery or whatever. No, it could literally just be a chair facing a wall in, you know, like your guest's bedroom or something, you know, just a place where you can go and it's quiet and you feel comfortable and you can ease yourself into that in-between place. And it doesn't even have to be about you trying to commune or you trying to receive information. It's about letting everything pour out of your mind. All of the worries, all of the stressors, the stimuli, right? All of those little straggly, you know, things that we think about. Did I leave the porch light on? I wonder if I did, actually. You know, that's kind of stuff. But we need a space that feels open, clean, uncluttered, right? Somewhere where you can go that just is for you. So maybe something to work on. Maybe something to think about as you are working through this little bit of, you know, it feels like a little bit of an energetic blockage. Okay. Now we have this beautiful black bird here. It looks like we have, right? Something like this. You can see. Let me see. There's this little tail too. All right. And so for me, this does not represent death so much as you're on the right path, okay? When I see blackbirds, when I see a crow, when I see a raven, when I see, you know, well, a grackle especially, I know I am where I should be. Now, I live out in the middle of nowhere, right? And you can think about you know, these movies where people are driving through the flatlands, the badlands, all of that prairie and the farm, you know, cornfields and that kind of thing. So when I'm out driving, you know, there's birds. They congregate in the ditches and they get in the fields and they sit on the wires and you see them and you think, what are you doing out here, buddy? What's going on, you know? But I look at them and I think, yeah, I'm on the right path. I'm on the right path. Immediately I know. Whatever it is that I'm worried about, whatever it is that I'm questioning, I should trust myself. Because I do know. Everything I need to know, I already have within me. And that is because I am of the universe and the universe is of me. I contain all. And so do you. And so do you. So it's not about like going out and looking for answers. It's about going into yourself and learning to listen because you already know. And that's why we need spaces like that. And that's why we also need symbols and synchronicities and patterns because they remind us. Not only are we on the right path, but that we are on a path at all. Okay? Now we also have the number 51. And we have a person holding a pear. Something about pears. Pears being in the house. I almost wonder if this is like a holidays thing, a tradition. It feels like it. Maybe there's a little pear coming your way. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to do our lucky numbers. 32, number 32, number 9, 32, number 9, 76. Okay, now we're going to do our Mary Magdalene Oracle cards. And we're just going to flip through. Stop where it feels right. And this is just going to kind of punctuate the reading. And it says the sixth power. The body never lies. The body never lies. It doesn't. But that's part of it too. It's developing our ability to listen to ourselves, right? I feel like so much of our lives we're conditioned to forget how we feel. You know, I think about this with I'm not going to get too far into this, but I think about this with my daughter going to school and stuff. And just remembering my going to school. And, you know, you're just kind of conditioned to sit and do your work and to forget about how your body feels. Like, how does it feel to be sitting most of the day? How does it feel to have to, like, ask somebody if you're allowed to go to the bathroom, you know, or get something to drink, or if you're hungry, or, you know, and we're trained to forget. And it's something that it's painful. It's painful to really think about because it's kind of like choosing against ourselves, right? And so, yeah, you better bet. I'm like, if you need to go to the bathroom, Mom, you go. And then you tell that teacher if she's mad, call your mom. Because I'll have something to say. You know, but it's like, what do? You know, and as you get older, and I think this is really part of that individuation process, is that we get to a point where we realize, I gotta unlearn all that stuff, right? I need to, if I want to survive, I need to know how to hear myself, my intuition, how my body feels, the processes of my life and body, you know, all these things we need to know. We need to be into that connection, deeply into it. And so, you know, it's kind of like there is a learning curve there about how, like, what do you do as you're raising kids? But to support, you know, ourselves and each other, and yeah, listening to how we're feeling. It's important, definitely. And to also be able to hear people when they tell you, right? Because I do this too, even with my daughter sometimes. You know, it's like I know she's like really tired, and then I don't feel good. I don't want to go to bed. You know, and I can be dismissive. Oh, you're just tired. Oh, you know, you need a snack or something. We need to sit down and just calm down. You know, and I try to stop myself and say, don't dismiss what she has to say. Don't just say, oh, it's just this, or oh, it's just that. Because you know what? That just teaches her. Somebody else knows better than you do about your own body, about your own feelings, about your own mind. And, you know, that's the last thing. The last thing I want her to feel, you know? So, I don't know. I could go on and ramble into spirals about this. But I will tell you, I am so thankful that I got to spend this time with you. It is always such an honor. If you haven't subscribed, please think about doing that. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to like the video or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Absolutely. And again, I'll tell you, I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk real soon. And good night.